sexy sex. Moi que non, oui, mais oui, tellement sexy, sexy, sexy. Moi sèche-moi, oui, mais oui, sèche comment sexy, sexy, sexy. Moi sèche-moi, oui, mais oui, sèche comment sexy, sexy, sexy.
Yeah, it's just to Darren's point about, and I'm not saying this about Devers yet. That ball's got to be caught.
90s and 2000s, hip-hop and R&B heat waves.
Summer Sounds, a mix of massive hits guaranteed to keep your cookout crunk.
And your beach blanket bumping.
The Fly Summer Sounds mix.
Now playing in the SXM app.
And for all your 90s and 2000s hip-hop and R&B needs, check out SiriusXM Fly, Channel 47.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
It's Grace Sharkey, and I host Freightwaves Drive Time weekdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And are you wondering what's powering inflation? Well, we take you to the roots of our economy, the transportation and supply chain sector, to answer those questions. Guests including trucking company owners, freight tech entrepreneurs, and world economists join me to educate you on the industry bringing your favorite goods to your doorstep. Join our conversations on Road Dog Trucking Channel 146.
To hear Freightwaves Radio with Grace Sharkey, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
The SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do. Fashion channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
SiriusXM NFL Radio's training camp tour is on the road, getting you ready for the season.
You gotta practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Starting Friday, our experts are visiting all 32 teams and interviewing coaches and star players from across the league.
Quarterback Aaron Rodgers had Super Bowl III trophies, looking a little lonely.
Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I've always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this moment.
Channel 88 is your all-access pass to your favorite team. And listen to all of our NFL Radio training camp tour shows anytime on the SXM app.
Check out Kevin Hart's exclusive SiriusXM show.
The name of the show is Straight from the Heart, featuring me and the Plastic Cup Boys.
Hear the latest from Kevin Hart on his exclusive SiriusXM show.
We're talking about putting in work, talking about your ladies and the expectations that they may have.
Wait a second, Straight from the Heart. Straight from the Heart with Kevin Hart. To hear Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer. Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Rondo Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici, let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Jordan of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me, the people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! People always hate when I'm out. See, I do my show sometime at midnight, and it makes people up because I talk so loud. And some of my neighbors, they just don't get it. I'm trying to bring the neighborhood together. Bringing the neighborhood together some praise. But some people just don't get it. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Big C said sent you, where the good Lord bless you. If that makes sense to you, really do appreciate that. What a beautiful day. Wednesday, July 26th in Dimdale Hills, California. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 27 podcast applications all across the universe. You can find it on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, GeoSavon Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Good Pods Podcast, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Podyssey, Podcast in Public. And there's only one that used to scare me, and then it stopped scaring me, and then it started scaring me again. It's the one where the robots are taking over. It's called allfees.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are taking over. But I've learned something along the way. You want to know what it is? Turn off the robots. A long time ago, there was a man by the name of Teddy. And when Teddy started singing, the robots would listen. He would say, turn off the lights, ding, and light a candle. Dun, 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 dun. You see, there's something I want to do to you, baby. Man, I love that part. And if the robot didn't listen, Teddy would say, turn them off. I love it. I'm telling you, it got a lot of energy. I had about 3 hours of sleep last night in Dimdale Hills, California. I'm so excited about the number 9 series DNA, the best DNA in the history of the universe. I feel like so many things are coming together. Do a lot of prayer, a lot of manifestation, a lot of meditating. Really do appreciate that. I love meditating. Meditating? Yeah, that's a meditate. It's a word, manifestation and meditation comes together to create meditating. I also want to say you can follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms all over the universe. You can find it on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have a smart TV, or you might be sitting there just looking at a still picture, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with still pictures. That's how motion pictures started out, just still pictures. I want to also say, I was talking about getting $6 billion, and I mean that. I'm not shucking and jiving. $6 billion is not a lot of money to some of the oil companies out there that want to keep putting their foot in the sports world of the United States. So I'm putting up my hand for $6 billion, and I'm talking to God. Give that some praise. When you're talking to God, it don't have to come from men. It don't have to come from no man. It can come from God, if that makes sense to you. I'm telling you, my show is different. It's not like the others. I always produce the show. My show is fresh daily, like the chicken that I had last night with some salad, with some mushrooms, some olives, and some pepper. It was like dynamite. What did JJ say in Good Times? He said dynamite. I love it. People say, man, how do you have so much energy? I tell you, it's gotta be the vibranium. You know, like hear it. Nobody says, when you drink the herb, you get a lot of power. Give the herb some power and get that praise. Love drinking the herb. If I could just bottle it, if I could just bottle the vibranium, I'd be the wealthiest man in the history of the universe. Because vibranium is more special than oil. It's more special than gold. And if you understand, there's only one source in the universe where you can get the vibranium. And I found it. You can also, I'm telling you can find it too. You meditating. I always honor God, walk and talk by faith. Number one, and I'm telling you, good old boys, I'm asking for $6 billion because nobody else in the universe, they do it the way I do. Number one, I always produce the show. I don't have 7 producers. Number 2, I direct the topics. I don't have someone telling me what to say. Number 3, I broadcast all the shows. Number 4, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. And vibranium is an elixir. And that stuff works. Give Elixir some praise. I'm telling you, the commercials are done. I'm the only sports show in the universe. I do all of my commercials before the show. It's before the show. Just like at the movie theater. Unlike TV, it has a commercial at the beginning and sometimes 2 before the end of the series of the TV show. But you go to the movies, they run all the commercials in the beginning. They don't run commercials when the movie's in. At the same time, I'm telling you, the stats are provided, the storytelling. I do the play-by-play, which I'm going to get in today when I do Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings. I have runners on first and third that counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on in deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. Everybody loves to hit deep, if that makes sense to you. And then, if you don't believe that's enough, I upload every show. It goes out to 27 podcast applications out of New York City. And I'm in Dimdale Hills, California. I'm telling you, I really do appreciate God's favor. And then, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back at Salem Media. You want to give that some praise? I never missed it. I'm like a robot. The robot don't miss things either, if that makes sense to you. I just got to find a way to pass a law that says nobody's allowed to sleep more than 3 hours a day, because I feel like that's what I've been doing since I found that vibranium. I can't sleep. I don't want to sleep. I don't need sleep. But what I do need to do is give out the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues? You can call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, give them some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. I'm telling you, we all need somebody to lean on. What did Teddy Pendergrass say? He said it's so good leaning on somebody when somebody's leaning back. Sexy, because you're so sexy. I'm telling you, there's something about drinking the vibranium herb. This comes from the 9 series DNA. It makes you feel so good. It makes you feel like you can fly to the moon. What did it say? When I had the 9 series DNA, I said, fly me to the moon. It's a place among the stars. Do you know what spring is like on Jupiter or Mars? In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. In other words, I love you. Enough! We want the real Frank Sinatra. Well, you can't get the real Frank Sinatra. You gotta listen to Big C Sinatra. If that makes sense to you. And speaking of betting, I met some good old boys that they said, hey, they call me ring. Hello, hey, hello. Is this Carlton? I said, yeah, this is Carlton. Carlton, they talk like they know me. Is this Carlton? Yeah, this is Carlton. Hey, Carlton, I gotta. You lucky you answer on the phone. I said, okay, well, what's going on? How can I help you? He said, we got some inside information on the big game tonight. We got some information. It's only on the inside. Only a few people know what the information is, and we know the information. I said, well, congratulations. What can I do for you? He said, you want to put some money on the game? I said, yeah, I can put some money on the game. He said, how much do you want to put on the game, Curry? I said, how about 250? He said, 250? I said, I could do 250. He said, man, that's the best bet you've ever made in your life. And I heard him telling his homeboys in the back, hey, this guy's going to put up 250 in the game. And I said, okay, well, what do I got to do next? He said, so we're gonna sign you up for $250,000 on the next game. I said, no, not $250,000. When I said 250, I really meant I could put up 250. He said I was a smart aleck. You know how many cans it takes to raise $2.50? He said, you're a smart aleck, sir. You got a minimum draw of $500. I said, then count me out. Give some praise when counting people out. If you can't take $250, I just bought the winning lotto ticket and it only cost me $2. Why would I give you $250 to win $5,000? If that makes sense to you, I really do appreciate 800 Gambler. If you answer the phone and someone's asking for your credit card and where you live and the expiration date, it's probably not a good idea if that makes sense to you. I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. I really do have a lot of passion about saying let there be light, because let the light shine on the world. Just like vibranium is good for the spirit, letting the light shine on the world is good too. Give that some praise, vibranium and spirit, if that makes sense to you. I love saying thank you to the Associated Press, Jamie Harr, on March 29th, 2023. She did an article on reparations, and she happened to call Charlton Curry of Big C Sports about reparations. She called a sports show about reparations, and there's a lot happening. I love what's going on with the California Reparations Task Force. There's a lot of things that are out there. She also had mentioned President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, also California Governor Gavin Newsom, as well as California Task Force Chair Camila Moore, and of course Senator Stephen Bradford, the best senator in the United States, in my opinion. And when people say, "Oh, you talking about reparations? You talking about reparations again?" Yeah, we're gonna talk about it until that baby comes. You gotta take the plant and you plant a seed. A friend of mine by the name of Rashid, he was telling me about black sand, and you can plant things in black sand and it comes out clear. Now, I've never heard of black sand before, but you can bet I'm going to try to order some. I'm going to try to order some. But for people who are antithetical to reparations, because there are some people who survived the Southern Confederates, they had children too. But Google, I'm about facts. If you Google Survivors Today Act of 2017, the Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017, it requires United States legislation, the State Department, to report to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Holocaust survivors and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist governments. That's the United States Congress making sure that our Jewish brethren get their reparations. And you know what we do? We give them praise because they deserve the reparations. You know who also deserves reparations? The same legacy and lineage that helped end Hitler's reign in Nazi Germany. That's Black Americans. Give us some praise too, because we're next. If Congress can make sure that our Jewish brethren, Holocaust survivors, and their heirs are getting reparations. Hitler was only in power from 1933 to 1945. Slavery lasted 1619 to 1865, and then 100 years of Jim Crow. So for anyone that celebrates our Jewish brethren, I'm asking the Jewish community to also stand behind reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. If that makes sense to you, give that some praise. Really do appreciate that. I love it so much. It's just part of my spirit, and I thank the Associated Press for covering that. I also want to say that the United Nations Human Rights Chief called for reparations, and I'm so proud of it. I'm going to make sure, because there's a lot of good things coming, and I'm going to be a part of it with the California Reparations Task Force. I want to make sure that I give credit where credit is due, because these beautiful, intelligent people, sometimes when the show is over, people forget all about them. I was talking to the president and CEO of the National Black Wall Street today, and we talked about the older generation. They would take the time to communicate by writing a note or writing a letter. And then there's my generation of people. We communicate by picking up the phone and call 777-9311. We pick up the phone and we call somebody. And now the new generation, the younger generation, they don't write letters. They don't want to pick up the phone, but they will text. So there's 3 different styles of communication for the younger society, and then the medium age society, and then the older society. But it's still communication. And I want to pay homage to the task force members, Camila Moore, the chair, she's brilliant. Dr. Amos C. Brown, the vice chair, brilliant. California Senator Stephen Bradford, brilliant. We have Council Member Monica Montgomery Steppe, brilliant. Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer, brilliant. Dr. Shell Grillis, brilliant. Lisa Holder, brilliant. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at Berkeley, brilliant. And Donald K. Tamaki, brilliant. Give them some praise, all part of the Reparations Task Force. And I want to make sure that it doesn't go away. I'm the only sports show in the universe that even talks about it. Some people don't even know what reparations mean. Other people think it's about repair. It's all about that. But I want to make sure, as school is getting ready to start, and I also want to thank Disney Corporation for sponsoring Big C Sports. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. I love saying that. And then for all of the times that people say, oh man, you talk too much about politics. You got Disney Corporation that owns the mothership that just fired a lot of people. But you know they sponsor Big C Sports. You can give that some praise. You can Google it. You delete it, follow, get out of the way. But what I want to make sure that happens, I know it may not go over well in Florida because they don't believe in black history where all life came from the African continent. But the task force, it recommends major reparations. This is more important than saying touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. It's more important than that. There's an 1,100-page report providing recommendations for lawmakers like the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who seem to have fallen down. May lack distract. Sometimes when you're on the wrong side of history, you can't fall down. Hopefully he's okay. And hopefully when he fell down, he'll realize that he should be supportive of reparations. His family owned slaves, sitting on unclean hands, unclean bank accounts, all that free labor. You gonna tell me if he stopped getting a paycheck, he says okay? No! But he's anti-reparations. How in the world is he anti-reparations? Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, how is he anti-reparations? How is he anti-fairness? But there's an 1,100-page report that provides recommendations for lawmakers, and I hope that it gets into the hands of every educator, every school board, from elementary to high school to college. It can be a thesis that college kids are required to study. I mean, it's so important because it's the biggest crime America's ever had. It's called the theft of the labor and the payments from African Americans. You say, how do you rob God? By withholding your tithes and offerings. That's a biblical term. But how do you rob people? You do it by not paying them. And that wasn't right. It wasn't right, but people did it anyway. I'm talking about the United States of America. So I'm just asking, we can either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And we have to make repair. I hope that it becomes a national, especially with the election coming up next year. I'm telling you, the task force recommends major repair, and it has to be done. And I want to give that praise. I may be the only guy that will champion it. As it happens, more people will champion it also. And I know that's the fact. You don't have to worry about people. I like to go forward, and I don't mind being the first one in line. I like to be the first one in line, if that makes sense to you. It's always good being the first one in line. I'm going to say something before I get into some sports because it's important to me. And everybody has their own flavor. But this is so important because I'm trying to get $6 billion so I can help employ more people around the world. Because sports will bring people together. And with $6 billion, it's possible to do it. There's a parable of the talents. It's in Matthew 25:14-30. It tells of a master who was leaving his house to travel, and before leaving, entrusted his property to his servants, according to the ability of each man. That's important. And this one servant received 5 talents. I would say that's a lot of the people who were made famous by motion pictures and sports teams. You got people who make TV commercials, Gotta Be the Shoes, Gatorade, whatever it is. A lot of those guys are quiet. They do their own philanthropic work. No shame in that. And then there's the second one received 2 talents. And that would be the people they're also well known, but they're ancillary to the people who are movie stars and entertainers, and we see them on TV all the time. But they still do good work, and they gotten a lot of favor in life with those two talents. And then there's the third one, who only received 1 talent. And that's where I come in, Big C Sports. It doesn't mean I don't have the talent of those other people, but I'm one person. If I stop doing Big C Sports Podcast, it ends. If I stop doing it, it ends. I don't have 15 people to call in if I go on vacation. I do it even on vacation because I love it. It's like breathing. Why would I stop breathing? Give breathing some praise. I want to breathe life into it. But when the master came back at the person that got 5 talents, what'd you do with the talents that I gave you? He said, well, master, it's kind of scary out there in this strange new world. You know, sometimes people can be quite difficult to deal with. Some people lie. Some people try to deceive. Some people embezzle your money. Some people will rob you. Some people will talk about you behind your back. But he did the best he could. He saved some and he invested the others. And the good old boy said, he said, you wicked and slothful servant, I gave you everything. And you were afraid? Isn't that something? Just because somebody's giving more doesn't mean they're going to do right. That's why Senate Majority Leader, Senator Mitch McConnell, he should be so vocal, so pro reparations that maybe he would stop falling down, if that makes sense to you. And then the person who received the second amount of talents, Master said, what'd you do with the talents that I gave you? He said, well, it's kind of scary out there in this world, but I felt brave enough to put my best foot forward. I found some good opportunities, and I invested in those talents. I saved just a little bit just for a rainy day, but I did the best I could. And the master said, well, I'm so proud of you. Good job. And then he came to the one that he gave the least amount of talents to. Maybe because I don't need as much help, when you look at it that way. And he said, so Big C, what'd you do with the talent that I gave you? You know your voice. You were told a long time ago that people love listening to your voice. I've heard that all my life. Man, what a great voice you have. I've heard it from strangers. I've also heard from people that say, man, you suck. So I've heard that too. But I don't listen to those people. But I told God, I need $6 billion. And I'm asking you. I'm not asking a man. I'm not asking a woman. I'm asking the same Ancient of Days that created life, that made the fertile soil to produce food out of the ground, that made the waters and the lakes to provide fish, that made the clouds come together and provide rain, that created the moon, sun, and the stars, the Alpha and the Omega. And when I've been meditating, people say, oh, how you gonna get $6 billion? I'm going to get $6 billion, and it's going to happen before Christmas. And I'm going to announce it because I want to show other people how to do it too. And some people say, man, you're going to look like a fool if it doesn't happen. I was told I would look like a fool by saying I'm going to have my own sports show. I remember some people saying, man, you should go work for the man. You're going to look like a fool telling people you're going to have a sports show? And you're going to have more platforms than anybody else in the universe? I was saying this before I even did it. There's something that we all got to understand. You got to speak things that be not as though they were. That's what Romans 4:17. And when I was prophesied over when I was a little boy, there was always told you're going to be something special. Now some people say, oh man, you ain't special. Everybody's special. Everybody wants to be significant. But what I am not a coward. I am not afraid. I don't need anybody to affirm my action. All I do is ask God, and I do the best I can. But there's a time where you got to stand up for yourself. And I'm going to preach reparations and sports and religion. I'm going to do all that and ask for God to give it some power, to put life into it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask young people to do it too. I know older people set in their ways. And even there's some people who don't believe in anything until they see it. Well, sometimes that's why we don't see it. You got to believe in something before it happens. I was talking to a pastor of mine, a spiritual guide, and I met her about a year ago. She's from North Carolina. And she prophesied on me. I just met her, just randomly meeting her. She was at a hotel, like a convention, people come in and out of town. I was there talking and watching some sports, and it's like a sports bar. And she just walked up to me. We started talking. And she said some things that have actually come true. I didn't know her from Adam, but she prophesied over me. It's just over a year ago. And she told me about some things that are going on in my life that I told nothing about. And it's amazing how many of those things she's talked about, they're coming true. I want to give that some praise, because God says when you're ready, the teacher will come. And she still advises me on things to this day. And that's why I say there's something in that 9 series DNA. It's real. Don't let people tell you that it's not real. It's very real. And that's important to me. I want to just thank everybody that's ever been a part of my life. And I'm going to do my show the way I do it. It doesn't matter what people think. I'm so proud of Reparations. Before I get into the Major League Baseball, Big C's Major League Baseball Power Rankings, I want to talk about some of the things that are important to me, which is where I came from. A lot of people, they don't know where they came from, but I do. And that's why it's important that I champion reparations. Doesn't matter what anybody says. You gotta know where you come from. What did Teddy Pendergrass say? He said, you gotta know when to hold on, know when to fold on, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the deal is done. Man, that's not Teddy. That's not Teddy Pendergrass. That's Kenny Rogers. Okay, I may not get the entertainer right, but I knew the songs. I knew the words of the song. I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy. On my beautiful mother's side, my great-grandmother called her mama a beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. And then my great-granddaddy called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player. He was always listening to the sports shows, saying runners on first and third. The count's full, the pitch, curveball, swung, hit deep, left field, back to the wall. Home run! He would say hello to my little friends. He loved saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The road MacGyver can fix anything, planes, trains, and automobiles. Really do appreciate him. Then my beautiful grandmother called her Mud Deer. She was a beautiful, loving, kind woman, industrious. She was a seer. She could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. She still helps me to this day. Really do appreciate her. And then my grandfather Hezekiah, another wonderful person. A seer could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. How many women have started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to a championship in an all-man's league? In fact, some of the men tried to intimidate mama. They say, this is a man's world. She say, hey, but it be nothing. Without a woman, a girl. Hey! Really do appreciate my mama. Always saying, rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. In fact, at the church, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. At a restaurant, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. And at home, everybody wanted mama's cooking. She said, son, how many plates have you had? I said, plates? I'm trying to get my reparations. Give me some praise. That went over only so many times. Praise. I'm looking for my reparations. I'm so grateful about so many things that have happened in my life by just praying and asking God for favor. Before things happen, give God praise. And oftentimes, God will show you the smooth road or the bumpy road. And then we as people have to decide which road we want to drive on, and God will get the bumpy roads out of your life. That makes sense to you. Love my mom with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. On my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, he was a pastor in Oakland. He had 2 churches in Oakland, built the 3rd one in Central California with his own hands. And then he owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft, the other on Foothill. But what I'm most proud of is he owned 40 acres of land. It was like the Emancipation Proclamation, where Frederick Douglass was working with President Abraham Lincoln to craft the Emancipation Proclamation, where every free black man was supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, because he told the black soldiers if you help the Union defeat the Southern Confederates, the KKK, that they would get 40 acres and a mule. Unfortunately, when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, President Andrew Johnson came along and he's like Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He vetoed the bill. For anybody that says, why would you veto the bill for reparations? Ask Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He's just like Andrew Jackson. Same thing. Just like Andrew Johnson. Same thing. Saying no. Instead of saying yes, that's the right thing to do. He knows it. All good people know it. Brother do appreciate my grandfather. And then my grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland, building the 3rd church in Central California, and working with the gas stations in Oakland. I remember I was 8 years old walking through a hallway in Oakland, and she touched me on my forehead about 10 o'clock at night. And I said, how in the world is she up touching me at night? And on my forehead, she's normally in the bed at 8:30. But she said, where you going, young man? You going to get some more cookies? I said, cookies, baby crap to what I'm doing. I'm going to get my reparations. I mean, I didn't say it in so many words like that. But she said there's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. And now Big C Sports Podcast is syndicated on 27 podcast applications all over the universe. It didn't happen overnight. There's a lot of praying and meditating. And now that I'm going to get that $6 billion, you're going to see I'm going to be able to help employ more people. Because it's coming. Almost everything I talk about, it comes true. Sometimes I even surprise myself. I'm still waiting for other things, but many of them have come true. That's why I just go by Romans 4:17, speak things that be not as though they were. The book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, you have not because you ask not. If you want something, ask. If you told no 3 times, ask 4 times. But I'm not talking about asking people. I'm talking about asking the Ancient of Days. Give the Ancient of Days some praise. It's not people. Ask the creator of the universe. Humanitating. Visualizing. Ancient thinkers said there's a gland in the brain called the pineal gland. Some people call it the 3rd eye. And I'm telling you, the things that have been happening in my life as I'm growing in the mothership own some companies that laid off a lot of people, and they're sponsoring Big C Sports now. Why would they sponsor me? Why would they put money behind a beautiful, intelligent black man when normally a show they have to have 20 people involved to make it work? One person. And that's what I'm saying, the $6 billion is coming. And that's a praise. Really do appreciate that. My grandmother, amazing. And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. Really do appreciate that. In fact, in the Air Force, my father's roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, that was written and produced by the great Spike Lee and acted by my favorite actor, the great Denzel Washington. Isn't that something? You can give that some praise. How did God line that up? How did God line it up? And now you have a person that chronicles in the Big C Sports Podcast things that I had nothing to do with before I was even born. It's important. I love the way things can be. When God says yes, it's not about begging people. Because a lot of people, if you got a chance, if they have a chance to see you elevate above them, they don't want to help. They don't want to help you do it. They're going to hope that you fail, called crabbing and barrel. Happens in every society. But there are people who want to see you rise. They want to see you rise and shine. They want to see you soar like an eagle. And when you're down there playing with the chickens, they say you're an eagle. That's why you don't get along with those chickens. That's why you find yourself walking away from those people. Because you're an eagle. And God is trying to help you meditate things into your life. But if you think you got to meditate in the club, getting liquored up to be around the other chickens, you got to recognize that's the bumpy road. What good comes out of being around people who all liquored up, looking to hook up? Nothing good comes out of that. Get away from that garbage and meditate and give God praise. God didn't say go out and get liquored up and hook up with all these strangers. No, find some time to yourself. Do what you got to do. I'm not preaching. I'm just saying. I don't go club hopping. Some people say, well, maybe you should. And maybe I should. But I'm not going to. It doesn't mean you don't have to. It doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm just saying a lot of good things have been coming into my life. And I see a lot of people that are kind of going through things right now. I've gone through my own crap. It hasn't been easy, but I'm telling you, things are a lot better, and I just thank God for that. That's why I love giving God praise. And then my love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Always saying go forward. A voracious reader. One of our favorite movies was Pulp Fiction, and I love the part before the big fight. But Ben Raines was talking to Bruce Willis, and he said your butt goes down in the 5th round. He said, say that blip. So Bruce Willis said, okay, my butt goes down in the 5th round. And he told him, there's going to be a stinger sensation. You feeling? He said, well, that's just pride flipping with you. And he told Bruce Willis what a lot of us as humans have to hear. He said, look, pride. Pride only hurts. It never helps. Boxing's filled with a lot of unrealistic muddly buckets who think that butt gets better with time like fine wine, but it don't. Pride, sometimes we want to argue with people that don't belong in our lives anymore. With pride, we want to defend ourselves against people who have no goodwill toward us. Let it go. And give God praise and let God bring the right people into your life. Like lightning. Sometimes we're not looking for it. But when it's there, you know it's there. Really do appreciate Todd. Love him with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Best person I ever met in my life. And this is important to me to say. And then my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. She set the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. We went on from there to become the first time in the history of the United States of America that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. Normally they would go to ESPN. But because of 2 black men in the crew, according to station management, called us the Dream Team. I still got the letter. And then as it would have it, some good old boys said if 2 N-words can do it, we can bring in some insurrectionists. And they created shenanigans. And the show went away. And I'm still expanding. It hasn't been easy, but I'm still here. I'm still going to get that $6 billion. And God knows it's true, because I asked God for it. Matthew 7:7, ask you shall receive, seek you shall find, knock it shall be open unto you. I'm not worried about what people say. Man, you're going to look like a fool if you don't get the $6 billion. I'm getting the $6 billion. Someone told me I see the number 6 all around you. All's fair in love and war. Daisy also helped set up when college coaches would come to the West Coast and do work with Big C Sports. An amazing person. You can be anything you want to be. I always pray Isaiah 54:17 over you, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. You can be anything. Always trust God. Don't worry about people. I love you with all that I have. And then my very handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. I was very smart, erudite. He helped me save trees. I used to get the newspapers and look through newspapers to look up stats for the Big C Sports podcast. One day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? I've been Googling ever since. Now on 27 podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms. One day Malcolm said, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote. Listen up, people. He said, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Through their podcast applications. Streaming. He said that before it was even on the air. Now, what if you're being like a lot of people who say, I won't believe it until I see it? And now it's on 27 platforms and 4 TV platforms. I want to give you praise, Malcolm. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Always trust God and stay away from people who are mean and they backbite and they talk about people behind their back. They'll do the same thing to you. You can be anything you want to be. I love you with everything that I have. And then Big C, with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. So let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. Let's be nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3-way teleprompters. All I got is God, and I know my stuff. I can do it with my eyes closed, and I do the best I can, if that makes sense to you. I want to talk about Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings, and everybody has their own opinion about talking baseball. And baseball, to me, is a little bit more exciting this year than it was last year, partly because of the pitch clock. You can't just go up there and wait an hour before you throw each pitch. So now it's gotten more excitement into the game. It's giving teams a chance to get more focus. Also, if you're a fan of the game, you got to get to the ballpark sooner because normally you could be 20 minutes late and you still get in the first inning. Now you're 20 minutes late. It might be the start of the third inning, and that's something people got to pay attention to. But this is my story, is my opinion, and I'm going to deal with it the best I can. I got runners on first and third. The count's for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. Number 10 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I have the Boston Red Sox, those good old boys, despite a series of losses to the Oakland A's. Last week has been a successful month for the Boston Red Sox and the clam chowder that they eat in Boston, who have stormed back into the postseason picture with a 12-5 record and plus minus 30 run differential in July. So they're a good ball club, and they're really starting to find their oats, if that makes sense to you. Number 9 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I have the Toronto Blue Jays, runners on first and third. The count's for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The Blue Jays, they start to climb the rankings with 3 straight series wins before stumbling last week, though they still held a 2-game lead in the final American League wildcard spot entering play on Monday. All fair and level where they got a great left-hander by the name of Hyun-Jin Ryu. I got number 8 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got the Cincinnati Reds, not the big red fighting crew, but I got runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The Cincinnati Reds began the second half with a 5-game losing streak, followed immediately by a 5-game winning streak. And I'm telling you, that's a team that knows how to hit the ball, and they got good pitching too. They should finish out the season very strong, in my opinion. I got number 7 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got the Milwaukee Brewers, runners on first and second. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep, so deep, put your butt to sleep. I think the great Ice Cube told us that. Milwaukee, the Brewers, they suffered their first series loss since June 21 when they dropped 2 of 3 against the Atlanta Braves from Georgia, and then they entered play on Monday clinging to a half-game lead in the National League Central. Those good old boys are going to make some noise, as they always seem to do, if that makes sense to you. I got number 6 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I have the Houston Astros, the defending World Series champions. I got runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball, and men do love to hit deep. You got the Houston Astros. They improved to 22-12 against the rest of the American League West with a series win over the Oakland Athletics, or you can even say coming soon to Las Vegas Athletics, in a big series at home against the Texas Rangers awaits this week. What a series that will line up to be. Looking forward to that. I got number 5 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. The Tampa Bay Rays. I got runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, center field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. The girls love the long ball. The men love to hit deep. At 4-14 in their last 18 games, the Braves, they are tied for the worst record in baseball since the start of July. A loss to the Baltimore Orioles on Thursday knocked them out of at least a share of the American League East lead for the first time all season. Now the number 5 spot is the lowest spot since the opening rankings, if that makes sense to you, on opening day. I got number 4 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got the Texas Rangers, runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, center field, back to the wall. It is caught at the warning track. That ball, had it been hit at 10 feet higher, it would have cleared the rain. But I'm telling you, it would have cleared the outfield. The Rangers avenged an earlier loss to the Tampa Bay Rays by sweeping the American League East leader last week. And though they were dealt a blow when Corey Seager hit the injured list with a thumb sprain, there's no structural damage, so he'll be back in his giddy up, if that makes sense to you. And if he's doing his thing, then things look good for the Texas Rangers. I got number 3 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. I got the Los Angeles Dodgers from Chavez Ravine. I got runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep. Left field, back to the wall. Hooray! Say hello to my little friends. Love seeing the girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep. All fair and Leavenworth. The great Ben Scully, 57 years doing this thing. The late Ben Scully. The Dodgers have rattled off 5 straight series wins and gone from a 3-game deficit to a 4-game lead in the National League West standings. In the process, first baseman Freddie Freeman, he's doing his thing, batting .441. You know, the Dodgers, whenever they get into the playoffs, they're a dangerous team. They've won 10 of the last 11 National League West titles, if that makes sense to you. I got number 2 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. The Baltimore Orioles, runners on first and third. The count's full. The pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Hooray! Say hello to my little friends. I love seeing the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. The Baltimore Orioles took over sole possession of first place in the American League East standings after the All-Star break, and the first time since August 12, 2016. And then 2 days later, they became the 3rd team in the league to reach 60 wins with solid starts on July 17th. A great ball club, and they got so much power, and they got so much history and emotion behind Baltimore. I think they'll make a nice run into the playoffs, if that makes sense to you. And now fighting for number 1 in Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings, the Atlanta Braves. Runners on first and third. The count's for the pitch, curveball, swung on, hit deep, right field, back to the wall. Hooray! Say hello to my little friends. Love saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. I was down in Atlanta. I said, let's go to Magic City. Disneyland sponsoring Big C Sports. I said, why not get Magic City to sponsor Big C Sports? So I went down to Atlanta, and I was looking for Mickey Mouse. I found a mouse, all right, but it had all kind of. It was scantily clad. It was dropping it like it's hot. I said, that'd be a good sponsor for Big C Sports. New sponsor for Big C Sports, Magic City. Drop it like a hot, drop it like a hot. Come on now, drop it like a hot. Sexy, sexy, you're so sexy. I love the Atlanta Braves down in Stone Mountain, Georgia. The Braves matched a season high with a 4-game losing streak last week, but they rebounded with a World Series win over the contending Milwaukee Brewers team. And third baseman Osman Riley racked up 6 home runs and 16 RBIs over a 5-game stretch. And that good boy is swinging the bat well for the Atlanta Braves. Well, that's Big C's Major League Baseball power rankings. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I know people have their own thoughts about who the better teams are, but that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I want to just take a little slight detour. Good news about Bronny James, LeBron James' son, that suffered a cardiac arrest. And we had talked about it before. I think it's called myocarditis. When, unfortunately, I guess the fortunate part is medical technology. Give the first responder some praise, because he got help right away, and that helped the young man. And sometimes you think, man, people have it easy in life. LeBron James has had so much success since he came out of Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's High School, and he's been on, of course, on the NBA, going on 20 seasons with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, now the LA Lakers, and you think that they just have this great life. But he's human, and he has to deal with things that other people have to deal with. Sometimes your child has a challenge, and by the grace of God, give God some praise, and the medical technology is healthy. It's a lot of pressure on young kids to try to be great in life, especially when you grow up in the shadow of greatness. And I'm just glad that the young man's okay, because it really is a testament to technology. How if people get help fast enough, then they can be okay. And that, to me, I just want to give that praise again. We all need to have somebody to lean on, and I'm just happy that the young man turned out fine. And he still has a future, but he has to decide what he wants to do with it. Health is always important, and I know they'll make the right choice for him and his family, if that makes sense to you. I want to just close out today's show talking about the NFL's highest paid quarterbacks of 2023, and I'll get more into it later shows. But Justin Touchdown Herbert from the University of Oregon, the Ducks, quack, 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 quack. He became the latest young quarterback to land a long-term contract this week, which means he will also become the latest to claim the crown of the highest paid player in NFL history. Give that some praise. There were some people that said he wouldn't be a good player when he came out of Oregon. I'm not one of them. I said he'd be a star. Now the LA Chargers fans are right to be elated, considering how touchdown Justin Herbert is now locked up through 2029 with big money. Comes big expectations entering a 4-year. Think about it. His 4th year. Looking for his first playoff victory. Now, he has not one playoff victory, but he's the highest paid football player when you think about it. It's amazing. Highest paid player in NFL history. Not one playoff win. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but he'll get some eventually. But he's a gunslinger. Unlike Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, think about the money they're giving out. That's why I want to ask for $6 billion for Big C Sports Podcast. It's going to happen. But when you think about the top earning quarterbacks, there's a lot of veterans looking to live up to their salaries. More than any other position, quarterback is unsurprisingly bound to be overcompensated. He has no playoff victories, but he's the highest paid player in history. Think about that. So losing helps. I'm just going to go down the salary. I'm happy for the man. I wish that was my money. But when I get my $6 billion, he's going to wish it. He's going to wish it was his money. You got Justin Herbert, $52.5 million a year. He's only started 49 games. His record is 25 wins and 24 losses. He's 0-1 in the playoffs. He has a 96.2 QBR. His touchdown to interception ratio is 94 touchdowns, 35 interceptions. But think about this, young people. Perception's everything. His record is 25 wins and 24 losses. And he became the highest paid player in NFL history. He's barely over 500. So if you're barely over 500, how does that warrant $52,500,000 a year? Because sometimes your past does not equal your future. Whatever he did in the past, it's not all on him. But $262,500,000 extension, 14,089 passing yards through 3 seasons. That's most in history. What if he had a defense like the 49ers? So he's making the money. I wish him the best. And no matter what you're doing, give that man some praise, because he's just a 500 quarterback and he got the biggest contract ever, $52.5 million every year. Think about that as you're driving through them there hills to get to work. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. If you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber. You can call Lyft. You can call a cab. You could even sleep it off. The life you save may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, everybody knows that's a fact. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, "You float like a butterfly. You sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble." He said, "With all you got to use, how can you lose?" Ali would say, "I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because all these Big C burgers make me out of my feet." And that's why he floats like a butterfly and he stings like a bee. We all got to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee in our own lives. No matter what it is that we're going through, just keep going through it. And always choose the smooth road. There's usually in life, there's a bumpy road, and that's full of deceit and confusion and hate and all the clandestine things that people do. And then there's a smooth road that's full of the 9 Series DNA, lots of love and kindness and belief and support. You got to choose which one you want to follow, if that makes sense to you. And as I'm going to tell you, everybody has a choice. As my beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911, because you should not tolerate it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. In honoring the President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. I want to honor the words of the great President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. And I want to get this message out for Senator Leader Mr. McConnell. President Abraham Lincoln said, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and hope that you have a super fantastic day.